Hello everybody, welcome back to Tempest Books. I'm Rebecca and today we are looking at a zombie book. Okay, so today we are looking at The Return Man by V.M. Zito. Now this is a zombie apocalypse book and it is looked at through the eyes of Henry Marco. Now, Henry is a neurologist before the world ended. I shouldn't say the world, this is actually just based in America and the rest of the world is zombie free. Just America has fallen, which was pretty unique actually. I was surprised when I read that. Now, Henry Marco was on the wrong side of the wall when the wall went up, essentially. So we have an America that's been split in two. We have the safe states where there is no infection, where we have a large population that is living day to day. It's not exactly a normal day-to-day life. They are trapped there. They are reliant on international trade, things like that. And the rest of the states have essentially just been left to the zombies. They are the zombie states. And that is where poor Henry Marco lives. Now, he did have the opportunity to be able to get into the safe states, but he chose to stay behind because he was looking for someone. And so the date came when it was your last opportunity to come into the safe states, and if you didn't arrive, you were never going to be allowed in. The safe states are now closed, and if you're in the zombie states, then you are stuck there. Poor old Henry has been there for several years now. He is still looking for the person that he has lost, and during that time he is helping other people by looking for the people that they lost, essentially. So his brother-in-law in the safe states sends him cases, and these cases are people who want to know whether their loved ones are zombies, essentially, and if they are, to return them to their properly dead state, as they should be. Now, Henry has a theory, and it is generally seen to be fairly correct throughout his adventures in the book. Using his knowledge of neuroscience, he's realised that there must be certain parts of the human brain that is kind of still ticking over and influencing what's left when the zombie virus, ravages the person and kills them. Because for some reason, the zombies keep going back to places that were important to them when they were alive. So someone who has lived in the same house all their life stays by that house. Someone who jogs every morning is a zombie who walks around the block every morning. He hasn't quite figured out how the zombie brain has done this, but it's proven to be fairly correct, and he uses it to be able to hunt for these people that he needs to return to their proper dead state. When he finds them, he returns them, and then so he takes pictures of perhaps what they were wearing on the day that they went missing or the day that the zombies got them, or he takes some jewelry, things like that, to be able to show to the people over the internet, because of course the internet works in the zombie states, and it reassures them that the person that they lost to the zombie virus is now in the proper state. They've been returned. They're in heaven, they're whatever it is that the person believes. Either way, they're no longer wandering around eating other people. So what passes for the government in the safe states finds out about what Henry is doing, and they decide that he needs to help them. And so what they're doing is they are sending him to California, because that is where they believe that the zombie outbreak originated, and they want him to essentially find the people that were surrounding it and get information from them, whether it be off their corpses or from, where they are stationed, whatever it may be. He is charged with bringing back the answer. What one poor man can do against the zombies of America, I'm not sure, but they're determined he can do it, and so he doesn't have a lot of choice. He goes off and he does it. This book is following those adventures, and I did like it. This was a good book. I rated it 3.75 stars, which is a fairly good rating for me. I go into a book with a completely neutral 2.5 star in my head, and as the book goes, it gains or it loses, and so in the end, about 3.5 stars for me. I liked the science. It was well thought out, it was logical, it was, viable sort of science. It wasn't terribly jargon heavy, we could follow it. The why and how of the original infection was really well explained. I liked how clear it was. And there was no mincing around of, oh, maybe this is what caused it, oh, maybe that's what caused it. There was definitive answers, and that I definitely appreciate. The other thing I loved about this book was the gore was astoundingly graphic. in some of the sections, there was definitely no expense spared on their attempts to completely gross you out with the vivid imagery of exactly what these people were seeing. And it wasn't just visual descriptions. They talked about what the smell did to you and what the sound did to you and things like that. It was, like I said, amazingly graphic. Probably one of the more graphic sections that I've read in a lot of zombie books. So that was definitely a plus in its favor. The things I found I didn't like so much about the book were some of the twists at the end felt very obvious, I suppose. They're kind of tropey. They definitely weren't anything that was actually a surprise. A lot of the bad guys that you meet also felt quite stereotypical. Like you could tell right from meeting them exactly how they were going to be because they fell into a very stereotyped, very, very tropey sort of role. And I had one particular faction of bad guys, one of the main ones that, to be honest, kind of just felt like page filler. They really didn't actually add anything to the story other than we kind of need to hurry up a bit. As a plot device, they kind of felt obvious and unnecessary. And it took away a fair bit from it for me. But those points aside, it was a good book. I did enjoy it. I'm glad I read it. I probably won't reread it, but I would recommend it as just an interesting zombie story if you like the zombie apocalypse like I do. Interesting science, a new take on your protagonist and exactly what he's doing in the zombie apocalypse. It was definitely a fresh take. He's not just some hero who's bound to go and save everyone. He's essentially conscripted and doesn't want to be doing what he's doing. But before that, he was providing a service. You know, he was not capitalizing on the zombie apocalypse, but he felt he was able to do what he could to help. And I liked that. It was, like I said, a good, unique take on a role in the zombie apocalypse. So yes, I would recommend this book. I think it is a fun little read, and like I said, 3.75 stars. The Return Man by V.M. Zito. And that's it. We're all done again. Let me know if you read this book. What did you think of it? Did you find the points that I found to be a bit of a downer as well? Or do you think I've completely misread it? Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.